64 Basic and Applied Statistics. This is just a quick run through for those of you who did not attend the optional in-class or face-to-face session. My name's Mike Huberty, and I've taught this course last spring, and as an online course. I've also taught it face-to-face previous to that. We just obtained a TA now this week for the course. I didn't get a picture of his face here. So our TA's name is Brett, and Brett Morrow. And we'll have Brett introduce himself to you folks through Moodle in the next couple of days here. One of the things that I asked you to do the very first week was, what do you think of statistics? And we had a lot of responses here. You can look through those. A lot of these were how we can use math. Some of them made math sound and statistics sound rather cold, and others you could see some uses for statistics to be able to understand what the media is saying, and a lot of sports statistics were brought up by people being able to understand research and politics. Quoting somebody here in the very last one, a tool to enable us to make a reasonable decision in our lives. That one to me sums it up very, very well. I hope that that's what you can use statistics to do, and hopefully this course will prepare you to do that even better in the future. I also had things like, people dreading this class, avoiding it. Some people said it's the last class they need to graduate. So there's some nervousness, never being good at math, things like that. And I understand that. My goal here is hopefully we can change that. I've been teaching for, this is my 23rd year teaching. I've taught statistics, mathematics. I've taught various sciences, mostly at the high school level. I've also taught at St. Olaf College. And this class is not very mathy. And so I hope for a lot of you that that's a good thing. We're going to certainly we need to use the numbers. We have to understand data. But it's very, very minimal in math. And so hopefully by the end of this, you won't think of this as a big dread. Hopefully you will come out of this thinking that this was a useful class. And you don't have to know a lot about math to be able to analyze data and make some decisions about things. So what is statistics? This is a quote that I'd found, actually somebody shared with me, and the very first line to me says it very well. Statistics is the science of learning from data. Right? It's not just, I used to say just the science of data, but it's really learning from data and how we make decisions. The second line, we're measuring and controlling and communicating uncertainty. One thing about statistics is it will never tell you the answer to a problem. It won't tell you the answer. It's not like a math thing where you work some equation and here's the number, here's the answer. But for making decisions, what it will give you is some range of results. It will give you an answer with some unknown uncertainty. And so the humans still have to decide how important, how likely is it that we want to take a chance of being wrong about whatever decision we make, and make the best decision we can. Okay. And then finally, the last piece, therefore provides the navigation essential for controlling the course of scientific and societal advances. So I like that quote. Hopefully you have all these things already taken care of. I know people really do. They've got the Tinker plots. It seems to be up and running for just about everybody, if not everybody at this point. You need it for almost everything you do in this class. There'll be some readings to do, not every week, occasional videos, but mostly it's working through the activities, the group activities, as well as the lab assignments. Okay. And speaking of groups, this is not an independent study class. This is very different than what a number of you may have thought of as an online, I do it by myself kind of class. That is not what this class is. And so I want to make it really clear. If you think that's what your plan is, to do things by yourself, this is the wrong class for you, because this is not by yourself class. Okay. This is definitely group. You need to be able to communicate with your group, to work with your group. We've got group discussions every week, and the 3 quizzes are group quizzes, not individual. So you need your group members, hopefully that they will contribute and help you, and hopefully you will reach out and help them as well. Being engaged is very important. We do have these frequent due dates, as you're quickly seeing here. Every week we've got that activity with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday due dates for the group participation, and posting online Mondays about your responses. And I don't ask you to post every question in the activity. Usually it'll be 5. And so you post those. You respond to your team or your group mates by Tuesday, and then as a group you write up a summary by Wednesday. And there's usually homework due on Fridays, and when we have quizzes and tests, those will also be due on Fridays, with the exception of the very last test. Ask lots of questions. Oop. I guess that came up. We don't need to read that right now. We want to make sure that you're responding to other people in your group. As I said, read feedback from your group members. I tend not to jump into the group discussions unless I feel like the group really needs some help. Okay? If I feel like, hey, some group members have the right stuff going, the right answers, but not everybody, I'm going to let the group kind of work through that and figure that out. If nobody's got it right, then I'll tend to jump in. But there's research that says that actually if the instructor jumps in, the group doesn't get as much out of it as if you kind of struggle on your own. So it's not that I'm trying to get out of it looking through your materials, because I will read everything. It's just if I feel like your group is doing just fine, I'll be hands off in that sense. But if you do feel like you need some individual attention, feel free to email me. I'd rather have you post things on Moodle if it's something that everybody would benefit from. But if you feel like it's an individual question that you just want one-on-one contact, feel free to email me. And also then, I will be giving feedback on, discussion summaries that you guys write as a group, your lab assignments, and quizzes and exams. So you get feedback on those things. Sometimes it will be individual. Other times I will just sort of send out on Moodle, here's what the answers were that I was looking for, okay, or the discussion I was looking for. So I'll post those in general and individual only if I feel like something's outside of that realm, okay. And as I said, we need Moodle here. We are heavily Moodle based, as you already know. And let's see here. And so you should already know the features. I've got everything here in the calendar. It is a Google Calendar, which if you use, please feel free to add it to your own calendar, okay? And then the entire course is just broken down then week by week. I do have this quick links here, very important things with class announcements. And if you have any questions on homework, things like that, you want to post, that goes to everybody, not just to the group, feel free to post those there as well, right? In course information, I've got some information here. Let me just talk a couple of things about the syllabus. In particular, my office is in the Education Sciences building, but my office hours that I've designated, I'm not going to hold them at the Education Sciences building. I'm going to hold them in Keller Hall Commons. If you walk in Keller Hall, when you walk in, you kind of look down, and there's a big student study area down one floor, and that's where I'll be on Wednesdays 11 to 12. I'm certainly willing to set up appointments in my office separate from that, and I know somebody asked if I can set up maybe Google Hangout, and I still have to look into that, but I will try to get something online set up as well. And there's more people interrupting here. Sorry about that. Make sure you've looked through here the course requirements. I've already talked about, participation, your weekly discussions, your 10 lab assignments that you have. That will be 25% of your grade, and it will be holistically scored. So, if you're getting minor little numbers wrong, that's not a big deal. Okay, you won't get marked off for things like that. But are you answering things completely, explaining things well? Do you have the main ideas? Okay. The 3 group quizzes, 5% each here. And then the unit exams. The first one will be worth 10% of your total grade, just because I feel like the first exam, everybody's just getting used to things a little bit yet. So I made that one worth a little less, and then the next 2 exams, 15% each. There's no final exam, okay? And there's some more information about, the grading there. This document, which I have as an individual link also, is very important. If you're going to print anything, I would print this one and have it by, wherever you can every week see, oh, this week I got to make sure I get this activity done, I get this lab done, and I may or may not have an exam of some sort. So that's a really important piece to keep track of. All right, and then there's lots of other stuff in there for you to look through. I'm not going to go through the rest of those. You should have found your groups in this group participation list. In here, this first week, I know some people are struggling. I've got video going through some stuff that I made last semester, trying to walk through some of those issues if you're still having trouble. But there is this general Tinkerplots instruction and tips link, which is linked to some of the activities we have. You know, hopefully, if you struggled, you looked through some of these for modeling random behavior. Let's see, there's some others for like next week's activities, help or hinder. So you see some things on here. So remember that that's there. For those of you having trouble posting images, right, number 2 here gives you some information about how to post images. Okay, so take a look through those as well. And let's see. As I mentioned, the activities and lab wrap-ups right here. So I already posted what I was looking for in Lab 1 in the Can You Beat Randomness. And then other than that, you know, it's a week-by-week kind of thing here. You should already be familiar with these things, where to find it. And every week will pretty much look like this. Okay, if there's any readings here, your activity and group discussion information here, lab assignments, and if there's an exam, I'll also have a 4th column about any quiz or exam. Okay, now all of your summaries. So once you've done your postings in Moodle for your group discussion, on Wednesdays you're going to put your group discussion. You should have a folder that I sent you that says this is Group A's here, Group A's summaries and quizzes, and currently they're just blank templates, and this is where I want your group to write in a summary of what you did. So as a group, you know, put the discussion, basically summarize your answers. If there are any graphs, feel free to copy in any particular good plots. And then at the very end, everybody should type their name after you've read through it. And that's key. After you've read through what your group has written, you're just typing in saying, yep, I agree, this is what we discussed. All right. So these things are just, you get credit for doing it as long as you participated. That's that participation point of the grade. So you don't have to stress about, did I do it right? I mean, you want to do it right to learn, but it's not something to be stressed about. You want, you know, your labs will be graded for accuracy as your exams, but these are not. You just do the best you can. I know week 3 is already up here. And it does have that extra column here for the group quiz, which will also appear in with your group summaries in the Google Drive. So that was sort of a quick run through of what we talked about face-to-face. And, you know, I look forward to working with you guys this semester. I really think statistics is very powerful. There's lots you can learn from it. And I hope you find this to be a beneficial course.